Good evening, everybody, and welcome to round 10 of the European Formula Esports Series. We are here on this wonderful Sunday night to commence round 10 of this series. It is at the iconic Abu Dhabi track where we would usually expect this to be the season finale, but it would usually be. We have got 5 more rounds after this due to the updated F125 patch, which will come with the F126 mod. So, European Formula Esports League has just decided to add 5 more rounds on, and we are totally not against that with how the championship is shaping up at the minute. Seems to be a bit of a 3-horse race out front, OMB, FZR and SET, separated by just 24 points. Of a win last time out for OMB in Singapore, they are the ones who seem to have the momentum heading into Abu Dhabi. But SET and FZR will be looking to reclaim that top spot, battling for 4th and 5th as well, just 3 points between FST and Continex. They are deadlocked in that fight for P4 and still with an outside chance of catching up to the top 3, so don't quite count them out yet. And a bit of a gap back to UFRC in 6th. 18 minutes of qualifying and then 28 laps in the race to decide who will prevail here in Abu Dhabi. As we await the first drivers to get out on the track. It's a bit of a mixed bag, this track, whether it's liked or not. Seen as obviously a lot better than what it was with the track updates in 2021. And on the game, it is quite easy to overtake it, especially around the hairpin down at turn 8. Varanyas is the first out on track in the Continex. But track limits and just navigating your way around this track is incredibly difficult. Don't be surprised if you do see quite a few track limit penalties and Baranyas deciding that he does not want a DRS board on the track, making quick work of destroying that. The Continex will be the first man to set a lap today. And taking an interesting approach on his outlap as he warms his tyres up. And he's followed by a flurry of cars behind him. But as we head out the final corner, go wide and then cut back in to get the best exit possible down a very short start-finish straight. Burn as much battery as you dare, heading down into turn 1, brake just after the 100-meter board, chuck it in 4th gear and gets nicely on the outside apex. Be careful not to invalidate though. Flat out through turns 2 and 3 and heading down the hill to the iconic turn 4. Braking when the curb starts, chucking it in 3rd gear, hits the apex nicely and get on early traction as you dare. And hugging the right hand side blue marker, awaiting the track to level out. An interesting racing line. The brake marker's gone, so he's got no way of telling where to brake, but chucking it in, manages to hit the apex and then into the second one, careful not to clobber that inside curb. It's a nice lap so far for Baranyas. Climbing the gears and burning the battery, heading down towards the iconic turn 9. Slight banking here, and he chucks it into the apex. He can take different lines here and still work out. He takes a very sharp inside line this time, then flat out through turns 10 and 11. Definitely not flat out here though. Heavy braking into turn 12. 3rd gear, chucking it back to the left, and then another left-hander. Very careful not to invalidate on the outside. Karen from gets out of the way nicely, then flat out through the refined turn 14, keeps it in track limits, and then chuck it into the final corner early on traction and up to the line. Baranyas will set a bank at the 1:21.6. Not a bad first lap time to start the day off. He'll be followed by Ben Mills in the FZR, and he goes just behind with a 21.9. He'll be followed soon by Baranyas' teammates, Zbombs. It's going to be really annoying to pronounce, but Benjamin's coming up to the line. He splits the 2 for 21.7. The RB of Jack is just starting his lap. Kurumi is finishing his as Nagy goes to P4. He gets displaced by Kurumi with a 22.0 as Liam goes to P5 with 22.1. And that first lap time set by Baranyas is holding up pretty well so far. English goes to P6 with a 22.3. Milan will be next across the line around the final corner. OMB last week's race winners, obviously, and he will go to third, joins his teammate up there in the top 3. OMB again looking quite good off the mark. But that lap from Baranyas seems to be standing firm and is still your provisional pole time. We've got a few more coming to the line now. Lucas squirming out the final corner. That's not going to get him far. And he goes slowest of a runner so far. Saban up to the line will go to P10 and between McLarens. Yanni in the SEC will go to P5 at 21.9. Identical lap times to Ben Mills, which is quite ironic because FZR and SEC have not been separated by much this season. Still gets across the line is Jack and Maxter, but I think Maxter is on a lap now, but Jack is pissing, so he may have invalidated his original lap. Alex and Sonic have not yet come out. The reason for that, I'm unsure. But they're quite out of sync from the rest of the field. But that is the first one so far, and the first lap of the day is still the fastest. Baranyas with control. But he's close to followed by the 2 OMBs, and then a bit of a gap back to FST Robin. And FZR and SET, they won't mind those grid spots too much. They just need to make sure they try and finish ahead of each other. Also keep in mind, they don't want OMB catching up to them too anytime soon. We are getting into the crunch time stages of this championship, just 6 rounds left. But everyone fouls in the pits now after those first runs. Maxter was the only one still on a lap, and he goes to P9. Not too far away from his teammate Kurumi. And we await for Sonic and Alex to go out, as they have not yet come out to try and set a lap. Jack did, but he invalidated. So we may get everyone back in the pit soon. Very fine margins, just less than 3 tenths between the top 6. And even back to that, 4 tenths between the top 10. Liam for FZR could do with getting a bit higher if they want to boost their points tally come the race. As Ferrari Kurumi comes out quite early, Jack has he disconnected and now he's joined back. So the FST may be having a few connection issues, as Alex does finally come out for his first outlap of the day. See TDR last of in the constructors of the teams that have raced every single round this season. Below them is RB2, but obviously they joined halfway through. Or left halfway through, sorry. So their place in the standings is quite unrepresentative. Weirdly, TDR started the season very well. They've got a points tally of 36, and 32 of those points came in the first 3 rounds. But they have not scored a single point for 5 now. This is Alex's debut, so he'll be looking to give them a boost. They could still theoretically try and snatch P6 off of UFRT and the 2 in front. But they're going to need quite the points all in the last 6 rounds. A few more runners coming out for their second runs, featuring Kurumi, the 2 FZRs, Ben and Liam. And the UFRT of English, and then a few more cars coming out the pit lane now. Alex starts his lap, and that looks a little wide, but he just kept it in track limits apparently. Alex filing through. He's got an Alpine in front of him, which seems to be getting out of the way nicely. And there's a huge gaggle of cars coming out of the pit lane now. Hopefully they don't interfere with anybody's laps. This is a harsh track on tyres, I will say, so don't be surprised if you do see some people going for a 2-stop. 1-stop is obviously probably the fastest. Sonic has joined Alex, the only other man not to go out yet. He's currently on the lap. He'll look to join his teammate up there in the top 6. And a lot more drivers on their second runs now. Alex filing through, just about keeping it out the wall and in track limits in the process. Coming out the final corner, TDR will cross the line to set the first lap of a 22.2. Goes ahead of the UFRC of English. What's Sonic doing behind? He's 4 tenths up on Alex in that middle sector. This should see him up there with his teammate and possibly even with the top 3. Sonic obviously has garnered a lot of points for SEC this season. And it's a crucial time for him to gather even more. RTM English is out of the session. I think he has crashed at the last corner. So English, in his bid to go even faster, I think has binned it at the last corner. And Sonic only with 23.1. I don't know where his lap time fell off there. That's a very poor lap time from the SEC. Jack, the only man not to set a lap, starting his lap now. All the drivers need to do is set a lap and they know they'll be ahead of RTM English, one that's better than a 22.3. Nagy improving his time so far. He'll look to join his teammate up there in P1. As Baranyas, I didn't even see, has gone even faster. 21.4, 2 tenths faster than his original lap time. And he's clearly proving to be the one to beat so far. We'll see if his teammate can get anywhere close to his time up front. And Nagy goes to P7. So CTX looking very impressive so far this weekend. See what FZRs have got in response. Ben Mills is 8.3 seconds down though, so that's not going to be a good lap time. Liam is on his outlap now. The car's ready to finish their laps. Yanni is 1.5 seconds down. He's not going to improve. What are the 2 OMBs got in store? Milan is going to close out his lap in a moment. Currently 3 tenths off the pace. Can he find any time to challenge Baranyas up front? As Dominic goes to P3 and Milan then displaces him, goes up to P2. So nice lap by Milan. That's a very good lap by Dominic to go P4. Robin then jumps up into P3, so the times are starting to tumble. Benjamin is just starting his lap now. Maxter on a lap. Kurumi on an out lap. Saban improved, but still stays P15. And Jack only went P17 with that. So Sonic, the slowest upper runners so far, which he'll be very disappointed by. A few drivers out of sync here, though. But TDR, 9th in the standings. That's a very good lap from Dominic. Baranyas, though, still with a grip hold in his qualifying session so far. Kurumi currently on a lap. We'll see if he can launch himself further into the top 10. Although he is down in the first sector, and clobbering the curb on the outside there doesn't seem like the greatest idea. Liam also on a lap, not too far behind him. And if his teammate's going to be up there in P6, he could do with joining him, so that FZR can try and work together in the race. DRS trains are a big problem here in Abu Dhabi. So they don't want to get caught up behind back markers, because that would just ruin FZR's planned strategy, and the same applies for every other team. Kurumi is still slightly down in the middle, so unless his original lap had lost a lot of time in the final, doubt he will improve. Liam's still down in the middle, although the last sector is where you gain the majority of your time. Still waiting for everybody else. As Kurumi backs out, I think he realised he wasn't going to improve massively. This may be Liam's last lap of the day, but I think he's realised that and has decided to pit. So Liam wasn't improving enough to warrant staying out. as that is very wide for Alex, who somehow does not get invalidated. Whether that gained in time or not, I'm not sure. Benjamin went to P4 with 21.6. So he did improve, not enough to jump a position. And Baranya still attempt to clear those behind, but qualifying isn't over. He's got a lot of cars hot on his heels. Ben Mills is first of the final runners to go out. And we've got a few more following him out quickly. Alex is a bit out of sync from everybody else. He's currently on a lap. I think this will be his final lap of the day. He will not get time to set another one. And he's 3 and a bit temps up, Alex, so he could see himself jump up into the top 10. If he nails his final sector, he could even challenge front runners. I'll tell you someone who does need a lap, Sonic, urgently needs to get a good time on the board because SETs do not want to be battling this race with just one car. And Sonic, it'd take a miracle to get a good result from all the way at the back. That looks a little wide from Alex into the final corner, up to the line. And he just jumped up to P9, but without that wide moment, he could have maybe been P6. Maybe kicking himself a bit over that. That's Alex's last lap of the day. And TDR 5th and 9th, that'd be a very good result for them, considering they sit 9th in the standings. Meanwhile, our pulse to Baranyas goes out just behind the man who's second in qualifying, Milan. You get the feeling it's going to be these two for pole, but don't count out Robin or the other OMB at Benjamin yet, because they've been not too far away all session. And then obviously Ben Mills for FZR and Yanni for SEC. They don't want to be too far back that they get severely outscored by their rivals. But Ghost Luca has gone out very early. He's ready to start his lap. Ben Mills, in fact, is currently on a lap. And that is a bit wide, though, into the chicane. He's still going to carry on, but that did not look like the fastest way around turn 6. Heading down the straight, we'll see if he's improving in the middle sector. And he's slightly down. Ben Mills needs a mighty last sector here if he wants to improve his position. And that little wide moment into turn 6 will cost him a lot of time. Throws it into turn 11. Winding his way around, he's going to come up on a bit of traffic, which hopefully gets out of the way of him. It's Ferrari on the racing line, which just about gets out of the way, but Mills have to chuck it to the inside there to avoid him. And he does not improve, loses 5 tenths, and in his frustration, he nearly puts the Ferrari in the wall. We are beginning the final laps. Baranyas ahead of Milan. Robin and Benjamin a bit far behind for when they finish their laps. But Ben Mills stays in P6. There's a bit of a setback for FZR. Yanni is invalidated at turn 1 and slams into the wall in frustration. So Yanni will only be P7 at max. So that is unfortunate for the SEC. What is Baranyas doing, though? Is he going even faster? And he is. He's 200ths up through the middle sector. Milan behind is slightly down, so he's going to need a mighty last sector if he wants to snatch pole off Baranyas, who has looked quickest all session here. And can he go even faster? It was a 21.6. It was then a 21.4. And he looks to go even faster. Robin starting his lap. Benjamin improving in the first sector. Dominic up to the line. Will stay in P5. That's still a good effort for TDR. Baranyas has invalidated, so he will not improve. Can Milan capitalise? Round the last corner, he sees a crashed Baranyas, and he does improve Milan, but not enough to snatch pole. Baranyas' teammate Nagy goes to P6. That's a great result for CTX. What is the FZR Liam doing? He is improving. This is crucial for FZR's weekend. They get 2 cars right up there. And Liam goes to P7, jumps his teammate. So a good lap out there for him. Robin and Benjamin are the only 2 left to stop Baranyas. Benjamin is slightly down through the middle sector, though. Robin is not too far behind him, and he's purple in the middle sector. So could FST or OMB still snatch this? Either way, OMB are in a great starting position, and Benjamin is backed off. Benjamin is not going to improve. Is Robin going to improve? Sliding out of turn 13 there. And can Robin snatch a pole for FST at the death? He's got over a tenth to find, and up to the line, it will not be enough. Robin stays P3, and it will be Baranyas on pole for CCX. And it never really looked like he was going to be stopped. He had pole with the first lap of today, and he has the last lap to take pole here in Abu Dhabi. So it's a Hungarian front row with Baranyas and Milan, but OMB would have wished it would be a Aston Martin front row. And still, a very good result by Dominic, I must say, for TDR. That is a very impressive effort, given they are 9th in the standings. Sonic down there in P16, though. The championship leaders, SET, will only start 10th and 16th. So they're going to need quite the comeback in this race if they have to salvage anything. They're 13 points clear of FZR going into this, but FZR themselves, they will only be P7 and 8. And as we head into the race, that is quite a few drops of rain here in Abu Dhabi. And I just want to fact check this because I can't believe what I'm seeing, but it is dynamic weather. And somehow in the desert of Abu Dhabi, we have got rain. Now, for any other track, you wouldn't expect much preparation for rain from the drivers, but in Abu Dhabi, it's almost an unlikelihood. So the drivers may be a bit flustered with this, really. They will have obviously seen in qualifying that there was rain incoming, but I don't think even they could have prepared for this. So, a wet Abu Dhabi. And now, if that doesn't scream carnage, I don't know what does. And everything we thought about strategic play and maybe drivers backing off in the first stint, that all goes out the window. Because when there's rain, it is every man for themselves. And they will be eager to get ahead of each other. I don't quite think it's wet conditions. I think it is slightly lighter rain. But even then, this is quite the revelation here in Abu Dhabi. We're at round 10, 6 to go. And if you thought it couldn't get any more unpredictable, a wet weather race in a desert, there's F1 for you. And this may be the first ever laps these drivers have done with rain at Abu Dhabi. I mean, no one prepares for this. It's almost probably a less than 1% chance we get this. But here we are, rain in the desert. And the drivers are in for quite the ride. Around 28 laps of this already difficult circuit, but add a sprinkling of rain to it. And we've got a race in our hands. OMB probably would have preferred a dry race. They have 2 cars right in the mix. But this might mess with their strategy a little. So we should get going soon. Hopefully enough time for the drivers to sort out what they're going to do. And obviously Inter's for the whole field as it stands. Here we go then, 5 red lights for round 10 of the European Formula Esports Series. And we are crawling away in Abu Dhabi. Baranyas looks to hold the lead as Milan goes to cover off Robin behind. Dominic is up to P4 ahead of Benjamin, and now he's looking to the inside of Robin, squirms a bit, and now he's back under pressure from the Aston Martin of Benjamin, who goes back round the outside to reclaim back P2. Baranyas though holds the lead from Milan and Robin, who's putting the Aston Martin under pressure. Then a huge train of cars foul through turn 3, heading down into turn 4. Dominic still on the back of that Aston Martin. Look to the inside there is Liam, who's had a good start, up to P6. Yanni ahead of Nagy behind. Ben Mills files through in P9 for FZR. And if they head down the straight, Milan is putting pressure on Baranyas for the lead of the race. Heading down into turn 6, the Alpine shoving the Aston to the outside. Can Milan go around the outside? Or does he look for the switchback? No, he doesn't. He's now got the inside at turn 8. And switchback now for Baranyas, who has to relinquish the lead. But now they're wheel-to-wheel on the exit. Better exit for the Alpine, and Baranyas looks to retake the lead, crucial in these wet conditions. But now Milan isn't done yet, and he's going to try and have a look around the outside, just has to back off, and Baranyas will just about hold the lead. Robin watching the fight in front. Dominic, though, he's looking to make work of the fights, because now he's on the inside and shoving Benjamin off the track to take P4. These two have been battling all lap so far, and now Liam looks to get involved. He hits Benjamin, Yanni hits him, and SEC versus FZR battling for the championship. Keep in mind, no love lost between these two, but Liam, I think, is just about holding off Yanni behind. They have a look at the tyres, obviously Inter's for the whole field, and looking to calm down. Maxter's not calming down though. He's on the inside of Nagy out the final corner, as Baranyas does still lead, but look at the pressure. Milan is putting him under. Robin's following them through behind, riding on board with the FST out of turn 1. Is it flat out through turn 2? Who knows in these conditions. Rounding turn 3 now, as cautious as the drivers dare. Baranyas is just about holding this lead, but Milan is not relinquishing this. He knows OMB are in this title fight. Robin's having a look down the inside, just thinks better of it. But he knows OMB have got a great chance today of gaining points in the title, and he is not willing to give this lead up. If you look at the battery usage, Milan is dumping every last bit he's got to try and take the lead off Baranyas, and crucially for him, even though it's raining, DRS is enabled, and Milan takes the lead of the race. Behind, Nagy is battling with Napster into turn 7. And now he's looking to get the position back. Sarumi's battling with Sonic as well. Contact made. The wing end plate lost there. Sonic, though, has had a good start of 5 positions, despite him starting near the back. Looking back at Baranyas, trying to retake that lead. But Milan will just about hold it. That's very wide from Robin. And Dominic will now take 3rd position. What on earth is going on for TDR today? 9th in the standings coming into this, but Dominic runs in the podium positions. Looking to take that back, though, is Robin. Down the inside he goes at turn 11. That turns to the outside now. Dominic holds the inside line, gives him the room. I think he's just going to have to back off Robin. And incredibly, Dominic takes P3 from 5th on the grid. What a race he is having for TDR so far. His teammate Alex sadly down in 17th. But still, this would be a great day for Dominic if he's able to hold this position. We've still got a long race to go. Lap 3, we move on to Milan. Starting to build a gap out front. I think maybe he had a wet weather setup enabled, and that is coming into fruition in this race. Baranyas will have to look behind him instead, because Dominic is right on the back of him. Robin, though, will be fired up to get that podium position back as we head down the hill towards turn 4. Does he have a look to the inside? Just stays behind. Is anyone shaping for a move behind? The two Ferraris very close together in 9th and 10th. They're looking to hold off Sonic behind, who, may I mention, is up 5 positions. Great start from the SEC. That's exactly what he needed if he wants to keep their championship lead today, because FZR, they are scoring nicely in P6, but Ben Mills, the other FZR, down in P12, a disastrous start for him, and he's now currently behind his rival Sonic, so Ben Mills really needs to get a wriggle on if he wants to score big in this race. Robin, though, is coming back at Dominic. I think he's got a bit more pace in the TDR this afternoon. That mistake has just cost him, and now he's down the inside at turn 9. Rounding turn 9 we go, and Robin will take that position back. Dominic just thinking better than to fight that. He knows TDR are in a good position in the first place. Baranyas still keeping the DRS of Milan, which is allowing him to defend well from Robin behind, and every single person is within the DRS of each other, all the way down to RTM English in P16. So the field barely separated in these wet conditions. We obviously don't know how long these wet conditions are going to last for. It could be all race, or we could finally get some dry running. I'm sure the drivers will be wishing we get dry running. Milan might not be, though, because he has got a lot of pace in this OMB, and he's pulling away from Baranyas, who is teetering on the edge of the DRS range as we chuck it into turn 2. Baranyas committed to try and stay in the 1 second of Milan. I think he just about did it. That was a nice sequence of corners for Baranyas, and he has just about held the DRS of Milan in front. Maxter having a look at Nagy in front as we head through turn 4. And this is going to be a game of battery here at Abu Dhabi. You drain it very quickly down the main straight. And Maxter will have a look at the Alpine in front of him as we head down the straight. Everyone's slightly spaced out, so nobody making any huge lunges. Branyas burning every bit of battery he's got to stick with Milan in front. It's crucial he does not let him get away at this early stage of the race. Milan, ever since taking the lead, hasn't really looked at threat of losing it. Liam seems like the one on the move, with a lot better race pace than quali pace. He looks to put Benjamin under pressure, but OMB know they are in for a huge points haul as it stands. And if it were to finish like this, they would put them right into the fight with SEC and FZR, heading into the final 5 rounds. SEC doesn't want to let that happen, and Yanni will be putting Liam under all sorts of pressure. As the fastest laps continue to tumble, Milan and Branyas barely separated that time around. As we head through turn 1, Branyas this time did a bit better to stay in the DRS. Everybody else filing through. Dominic still sticking with Robin in front. And if it were to finish like this, this would be TDR's most points since round 2. So Dominic driving very well. Benjamin happy to cruise in P5, and a huge train follows Yanni. Nagy looking to join his teammate up there in the top 5. Maxter and Kurumi not too far off him. Maxter burning a lot of his battery. I don't think he's going to be close enough for a send. Has a look on the inside of the Alpine, but just thinks better of it. Yanni closes in on Liam. It's not going to be close enough to shape for a move. Robin also closing in on Branyas. FST, they are still in the fight here today. Possible championship for them, but Robin is their only driver today. Oh, sorry. Jack Maloney is down in P14. But sadly, I think he's stuck in that DRS train. He did start last, so he is up 4 positions. But it's going to take a lot more than that if they want to thrust FST into this title fight. Still, it is spitting here in Abu Dhabi, so the rain doesn't show any signs of clearing up just yet. As we head on to lap 6, Milan still has this race in control, and everybody's still in the DRS feature. Maxter in the process got the first track limit penalty of the day. 3 seconds will be added on to his race time at the end of the day. And will it make sense to swap the 2 F1AFs right now? 2 Ferraris running very close, and Maxter with the penalty in front may just be costing his teammate a little bit. Maxter, I think, holding on to it for now, as that is very deep from Maxter. Nagy having a little slide in front, and Dominic maybe losing a bit of pace because he is dropping outside the second of Robin in front. And Liam and Benjamin will look to capitalise on that as the 2 Ferraris do switch. So Kurumi is let free to go and charge. Meanwhile, SEC versus FZR. Sonic was defending, now he's attacking on the outside of Kurumi. Now he's got the FZR of Ben Mills on the inside of him, who just has to back out. And now all 3 of them will look to try and clear Kurumi in front, but Kurumi's dropped out. Maxter is trying to hold off the 2 behind for his teammates. And rounding turn 8, we see Sasuke under pressure from Jack behind, trying to get his FST into the top 13. Rounding outside of turn 10, that could get risky as we head into turn 11. Still there on the outside, that'd be a wonderful move if he pulls off. Now with the inside, Jack Maloney shoveling DR wide, and is Sasuke still on the outside? Yes, it is. Brilliant battling from these 2 as we now head into turn 14, and Sasuke finally backs out. Incredible move there from Jack Maloney to get up into P13. Didn't matter anyway because Sasuke is into the pit lane, also along with Ben Mills. If for, I presume, another set of intermediates? Or would this be a very, very interesting course to go on to the mediums? He's going on to the mediums. So, is it getting drier? The cameras don't seem to show it. It still seems like there's quite a lot of rain here in Abu Dhabi. So that is quite a perplexing call. I'll get the gap to the leader up to see if Ben Mills is catching the leader. But from the looks of it, it still looks very wet. And it still looks like as those slick tyres are not going to be enough. Meanwhile, Benjamin is battling with Dominic, and I think he has taken P4. Yes, he has. So Benjamin losing on that P4 earlier has now taken it back, and now he'll look to try and hunt down Robin. Or can Dominic try and fight him back down the back straight? He's got the DRS. He doesn't doesn't have the power and he will stay in P5. So it's an OMB 1-4 now. A huge point stall incoming for them. And Dominic will now have to look behind because he's got a very feisty Liam and Yanni behind. Nagy drags his own little train as well. Kurumi putting him under pressure. And then maxed at Sonic and Jack, who were having crazy battles the lap before. Right on board with Ben Mills just to see if those mediums look any sort of grippy. It's turn 12. They don't actually seem that bad. If you look at the gap to the leaders, maybe it's a lot wetter than it's letting on to be. Ben Mills is actually catching. Ben Mills is catching the leaders. Everyone else has stayed out still. Apart from Ghost Luca, who's also in, but he was off the back of everybody else anyway. Ben Mills might actually be slightly faster than the leaders, so it may look wet here in Abu Dhabi. But that may be a visual glitch, because Ben Mills is either on par or faster than Milan in front. Meanwhile, cutting to behind, it is Yanni having a look at Liam, who goes a little wide in defence, and now Yanni looks for the switchback. Nice exit for the Mercedes, and he's going to be able to put his title rival under pressure. FZR versus SET as we head down the straight. He's got a bit more battery to burn, and does Yanni go down the inside? It's a very hard corner to dive bomb at, and he just has to back off Kurumi though. Down the inside, and Nagy goes a bit deep though. Now Nagy looks for the switchback. I think Kurumi's just got the grip to stay ahead. Up into P8 for the Ferrari. Nice move there. And now he'll try and hunt down the train in front, and Yanni's still putting pressure on Liam behind. But Ben Mills is caught a second on this lap. And it is starting to clear up. The rain is getting lighter. Milan has stayed out. Baranias is in, or in the process gets a 3-second time penalty. Robin's in, Benjamin's in, Dominic's in. Yanni's stayed out, but everyone else is in. Has Milan made an error here by staying out another lap? It's going to be absolute carnage in the pit lane here. And we'll see who prevails out the front. It's a mix of hard tyres and medium tyres as well. Baranias is still the leader of those in the pit lane. Where is Ben Mills going to be? Because he obviously pitted for all these guys. I think he's going to get the jump on all of them. Nearly all of them. Heading through turn 1. Ben Mills up into P9. Is he going to clear Dominic? Coming out the pit lane now. There is the Haas. And Ben Mills is now a net P4. So he's gotten his FZR back into this race. And somehow he's right with his teammate now. Liam has come out in P10. He's just ahead of Sasuke, who is right on his tail. Benjamin has fallen quite a few positions from that. He's down to P12. So he's really not had a good pit lane. Sasuke now overtakes Liam for P10. But if we look to Milan, you can just see he is really not got the pace on those intermediate tyres anymore. It is dry. And Baranya surely is going to get the undercut here. Look how much he's catching through turn 9. And all these top 5 are going to lose heaps of time. Both SCTs have stayed out. That is a huge error from them. And Yanni's going to have to stay out again, because I think Sonic is pitting as well. And Jack's trying to overtake Sonic in the pit lane. Milan does finally pit. But Baranyas is surely going to retake the lead of this race. Robin is coming under pressure from Dominic behind. They're both on the hard tyres. We head down the straight. Where is Milan going to come out? Ben Mills sets a new fastest lap. And out the pit lane, Baranyas will take the lead. Is Milan going to even be P2? No, he's not. Milan comes out and he's behind Dominic as they're wheel-to-wheel out the pit lane. Dominic will be ahead. So Milan's tumbled to P5. Now he's having a little ban down the inside of the TDR. Dominic holds it on the outside. Robin fouls through in what will be a net P2 after Yanni pits. But now out of turn 4, Milan does get the position back. And now he's going to look to make quick work of Robin in front. Dominic fouls through. Ben Mills on the oldest tyres of the lot is P6, which will turn into P5. So his strategy gamble has paid off. And Milan's error has now left Baranyas with a commanding lead in this race. 3 seconds to get back to Robin. He does have that 3-second time penalty, though, keep in mind, which he got from entering the pit lane. Benjamin overtakes Sasuke to get up into P8. And it's an FZR 6 and 7 now, and they're in for a nice points haul. OMB's Benjamin will not be happy, but OMB, I think, are the biggest losers from that. They were P1 and P4 before the pit stops, but now they're a net P7 and P2. Yanni is still going. Yanni has decided to stay out again. I don't know whether he's trying to extend so he can do a one-stop, but he's just going to lose multiple seconds a lap, as Sonic gets a 3-second penalty in the process. And he retires while he's at it, so SET is out. One SET is out the race, the other is leading, but is on a completely different strategy. And this could be a disaster day for SEC at the office, if it stays how it is. Milan still stuck in the DRS behind Robin. This train is actually catching Baranyasa, will keep in mind, so keep an eye on that gap. 2.2 seconds is the gap. Robin doing his best to catch up to the CCX. You know, Karumi makes a move to get up into P9. So trying to get a good points haul for F1 AF today. All the way from Benjamin up to Robin in P3. He's a train for this podium. What does Yanni do? Yanni finally pits. I think he just wanted to make sure he can do a one-stop. Whether everybody else can go to the end on their tyres, I'm not sure. The hard tyres might be able to, the mediums surely won't be able to. So Baranyas, Ben Mills, Sasuke, Nagy, English and Ghost Luca will surely all have to pit again. Whether the hards can go to the end, we'll have to find out. Milan, though, trying to keep up with Robin, but Robin's got a lot of pace in that FST. Enough pace so that he's only 1.7 behind Baranyas now. And Baranyas, he's going to have to tumble down the field with that 3-second time penalty. Still, I want to shout out Dominic. He is doing an incredible job there in P4. TDR 9th in the standings. And he's currently running P4. Meanwhile, Milan just finally dispatch of Robin. So Milan, the race leader before the stops, now unleashed to try and catch Baranyas. He is the net leader of the race as it stands after penalties. I think the two FZRs have changed positions as well. Ben Mills' mediums may be starting to drop off. And Liam up to P5. He'll fancy his chances now in this race. He can just get in the 1 second gap of the leaders. Well, just 13 laps gone, not even halfway through his race. And we've had all the drama you can wish for. Multiple strategies, wet weather, plenty of overtakes. And now it's down to whether Milan can catch Baranyas, but also fend off the challenge from those behind. Expect the likes of Milan, Robin, Liam and Ben up here. Dominic is the outlier. He is dragging that Haas up into P4 in a place TDR will really not know much about. They haven't scored in the last 6 rounds, and yet here Dominic is up there in P4. Meanwhile, Benjamin clears Ben Mills, so he splits the two FZRs, and he was one of the few that got shafted by that pit stop. So he tumbled out to P6, but now he's working his way back up. He's just trying to stick with Liam and catch 3 for the podium now, as Milan closes in on Baranyas. Maybe Baranyas' medium starting to drop off. I think this is showing us that the hard tyres is definitely the preferred tyre, as Milan now within a second of Baranyas. And you just see he's got a lot more confidence and pace in that OMB. So on to lap 14. Milan now back within the DRS of Baranyas. I think he'll want to clear the Alpine quite quickly, just so he's got a car buffer between Robin and those behind. Robin, though, I think knows this, and he does not want to let Milan get away, because if Milan does get away, we've seen the pace that he has before. So down the straight we go. Milan, I think, saving his battery for a second straight. And looking at barriers from Baranyas in front. And does Baranyas want to fight this? He has got a penalty. But he's burning battery. I don't think he wants to give it up easily. But Milan, to the outside of turn 9 he goes. And Baranyas will wait for camera. Around the outside he goes. And Milan beautifully takes the lead of the race. And Robin is going to look to follow him through quickly. But he's single file in this final sector. So he'll just have to hold behind. But you can see he's getting held up here, practically pushing the Alpine around this final sector. And there he definitely is pushing, and now he's sending it to the outside, inside of the final corner. Barges Baranyas out the way, and he does get the position. I think there might be a few words said in the steward's room about that. But Robin knew he had to get that move done if he wanted to catch Milan. But crucially, it's not going to be enough, because Milan has dropped him out of a 1 second gap of Milan in front, and is that going to be game over in this race? Milan might just be able to cruise away. Dominic, it's now his turn to have a go at Baranyas, coming out of turn 4. And the hard tyre is definitely better than the mediums at this point. And Dominic gaining on Baranyas, although Robin's coming under pressure from the Alpine again now. They clobber over the curb. Dominic with a slide. May still be close enough to shake for a move. I don't think Baranyas is going to fight this too much. Here comes Dominic. Does he dare to shake for a move on Robin as well? No, he just stays behind. So Dominic gets up into the podium positions, follows through Robin. But now Milan with a 2 second gap. And this looks like his race to lose now. That move from Robin cost him too much time. And now he's going to try and have to fend off Dominic for that second place. Liam and Benjamin a bit ways away from this fight. Meanwhile, Ben Mills, he pitted the lap before. And Baranyas' mediums, I think, has decided they are gone. So he is in for hard tyres. Which he should be able to go to the end on. I assume these guys will not be able to go to the end on hard tyres. His tyre wear does seem very high today. Where's Ben Mills going to come out in comparison to Baranyas? Baranyas just going under turn 1 now. Ben Mills is just heading through turn 1 now. So Baranyas is going to be ahead. It's not going to be by much. There you can see at the top of your screen the Alpine coming out of the pit lane. Ben Mills just 2 seconds off. So that gives you a sense of how far behind the leaders he is. Saban overtakes Jack, and Yanni overtakes Saban as well. Remember, Yanni was the one who went long on those hard tyres. Meanwhile, Dominic has taken P2. He's not just settling for P3 in this race. Dominic is up in second place. So TDR running in the top 2, and this is quite the job they are doing today. Alex is down there in P15, but it doesn't matter if Dominic's up there in the podium positions. This will be a massive point haul for them. Jack Maloney looks to overtake Saban in P8. Yanni, as I was saying, he has got the freshest tyres of everybody on the hards, because he was the one who went longer on his intermediates. Everybody else is pitting, so Liam and Benjamin, they've decided they're definitely not going to get to the end on the hards, and Max has followed them in. So I think the top 3 may follow suit soon, and may soon realise that they're definitely not going to get to the end on the hards. Yanni, meanwhile, could he get to the end? Him going 2 laps longer on the intermediate tyres, is that going to pay dividends? Because I think 17 laps on hards is possible, but his tyres will be incredibly spent by the end of the race, and he will have to do a lot of tyre management if he still does wish to win this race. Baranyas, who is technically your net race leader, because he will have undercut in Milan by now, is about 8 seconds behind Yanni. You can see him on the straight there. And Ben Mills, who has got a nice long train behind him now, as Robin retakes P2. I think these two are just working together to try and lose as little time as possible. And FZR will like the position they're in right now. Ben Mills leads Liam, who is using the DRS of his teammate to defend from Benjamin behind. So FZR in a nice position here, and now they're swapping positions because Liam has got 2 lap fresher tyres. As Benjamin looks to capitalise on the switcheroo, but can't quite get ahead. They'll stay in P10. Meanwhile, Robin and Dominic also follow suit into the pit lane. There you go. Milan has decided to stay out another lap. He doesn't quite think it's time to pit yet. Saban also in. Jack decides to stay out another lap as well. And Yanni obviously staying out. I presume he will try and get to the end of this race. Because if he just does what everyone else does, SEC may be looking at no points today. As very close to the wall there is Dominic coming out of the pit lane. Where are the 2 FZRs? Here comes Liam and Ben. And is Dominic ahead? Yes, he is. So it's crucial that they pitted that lap, because another lap and they would have been behind. So far out ahead, and now they are still in the DRS of Baranyas. So crucially for them, they went 2 laps longer, but Baranyas has not been able to break away. And Robin, Dominic, Liam, Ben, and Benjamin are all going to look to make quick work of the Alpine in front. He has got a penalty, so this could get problematic. Yanni is the one to keep an eye on in this race, because he could still be a threat to the win. And Milan may not be as easy as he seemed, and that's coming out of turn 13. Tokyo drift there from the Aston Martin. And I think that's all he needs to know, that his tyres are done. But what a save that was from Milan. Incredibly dicey stuff. And he just about kept it in a straight line. Milan is in. Baranyas leads this train for a net P2. Or net P3, I should say. Jack has decided to stay out. Jack, interestingly, yeah, staying out is quite the perplexing decision. Milan is coming out now. This could get quite tight here on the exit. Baranyas files through. There is Milan, and he's only just there. So him going 3 extra laps, as he has lost his lead, but he's still in front, which I think is all that matters. How are they going to play this, though? Because they are now getting onto the back of Jack. And he's going to look to help out his teammate Robin in any way he can. And does that include holding up the leader? Yanni is 5 seconds in front. So they should catch Yanni by the end of the race, but Jack could throw a spanner in the works here. He's going to let his teammate go by if Robin gets up to him, but Milan, he may play this a bit differently. And through the last sector, Milan has caught Jack at the worst possible place. Jack burning his battery. He's not going to let Milan go in a hurry, but you can see just how much more grip Milan has got over the RB. And heading through the final sector. Is Jack going to pit, or is he going to stay out another lap to hold up those behind? He's staying out. And he's going to try and be a thorn in Milan's side. And Baranyas and everybody else is behind. So heading into turn 1, Jack. This is going to help out Yanni as well. He's just going to build his lead more and more. Milan is being patient with Jack. He's waiting until the straight. He's got a big ERS advantage as well. But Robin is ready to capitalise on his teammate holding everybody else up. And now Milan dives down the inside to take P2. And now Baranyas follows him through to get ahead of Jack, and now Robin is behind, and they'll look to take both of them heading down the straight. Burning his battery is Robin, not able to get ahead. Baranyas is trying to home in on Milan as well. Jack did his best, but Dominic files through in P5 as well. The 2 FZRs will look to make quick work of him as well. And is Baranyas close enough to try and get back at Milan? Dominic is looking to get back at Robin. Heading down the straight, here comes Liam to the outside of Jack to get ahead. And there is wheel-to-wheel Dominic and Robin. And he's just going to have to stay behind. So they've cleared Jack, which is their only obstacle, in their hope of catching Yanni. And they should be on the back of Yanni within a few laps. Yanni does not have the pace. He's trying the one-stop. I just don't think he made enough of a gap in that early stint to warrant staying out. I'm not sure if he's going to pit near the end or if his intention is to go to the end. If it is to go to the end, he's going to drop down behind all these cars, you'd imagine. It is an 8-car train full of lead. But that might become 7 because Milan is nearly dropping Baranias again like he did before. And if anybody else wants to win this race, I think they need to clear Baranias now. And hopefully they can stick with Milan because they are catching Yanni fast. Yanni doesn't have his teammates to help out, so he is just driving for himself here. And championship leaders, SEC, are going to be in for a detrimental race to the championship here in Abu Dhabi. Meanwhile, Ben Mills in the other FZR does clear Liam, and Benjamin will follow him through. And now Benjamin senses a chance to clear one of the FZRs, and to the outside he goes, and he does. So Benjamin up to P7, and now it's about whether he can catch the train for P2 in front. Baranias just about keeping with Milan, but that 3-second penalty is going to cause him to drop behind all of these cars. As the gap shrinks to 1.3 to Yanni in front, Yanni still stays out though. So he has no intention of pitting. And this is really the only thing standing in Milan's way of victory today. He's looked quickest all weekend. But what does Yanni do? SET is OMB's rival in the standings, so does Yanni look to throw up a bit of carnage and try and hold up the man he is fighting for the title? So Milan into turn 4. Suzuki gets a 3-second penalty in the process. Yanni's got battery saved up to try and defend. And I think Milan realises he's not going to do it down this straight. Closing in through turn 6, and you can just see how much more grip he's got over Yanni. And right on the back of the SEC, coming out of turn 7. To the outside he goes, DRS, ERS, and now the lead of the race for Milan. And is that going to be plain sailing until the finish now? Yanni tried the alternate strategy, but he has been caught with 7 laps to go. And Milan, he looked very slow heading through turn 10 there. Yanni almost sensed a chance of getting him back. But this is now going to be about, can the lot behind clear him? Baranias on the oldest tyres of this train. He's going to come under pressure from Robin if he can't clear him quickly. But Yanni is going to drop away from Milan. And it's just about whether Baranias can stick with Milan and get by quickly. Robin seems to have the most pace of this whole train, and Dominic behind still doing a great job. Baranias gaining on Yanni. Yanni will still get the DRS on Milan, crucially. Down the inside goes Baranias, and he leaves him a room. Bit of contact made, and now Robin says there's a chance going around the outside. He slides. Dominic's waiting in the wings, and down the straight we go again. Yanni is not going to give this up easily. And Yanni's even getting close enough to Milan to shake back for a move. Lowering the curve at turn 7. Heading round the flat left-hander. Is anyone close enough to shake for a move? Dominic's having a look on the inside of Robin. Robin goes wide. Dominic on the inside. Is Robin going to have to relinquish it? No, he isn't, because back round the outside he goes. And now turns to the inside for turn 10. Not willing to give it up. And down the inside goes Baranias for P2. Can he take the position? Yanni doesn't give it up. And now Robin's on the inside of him to try and take P3. Barging their way through the final sector. And Robin slides his way into the podium position. Dominic now looks to capitalise and get through as well. And Liam just waiting behind us. Down the inside there goes Baranias. Outrageous move at the final corner. And now Robin tumbles to P6. Dominic is now up to P4. Yanni has managed to pull away from all that and is now P2. But carnage behind the Mercedes. Baranias getting caught up behind Yanni allowed Robin to get through. But I don't think Baranias was very happy with that move, and he sends it straight back down the inside. I think the stewards will have a lot to say about that after the race. But all this carnage has allowed Benjamin and Ben Mills to close back up to this fight. So these two are re-entering the fray. As we head down the main straight for the 24th time, Liam now up to P4, getting ahead of Dominic. Having a look on the inside of Baranyas and makes contact. Half spins the Alpine, who clobbers over the curb, and now Liam wants to take a podium position. I think the stewards will also look at that after the race. And then down the straight, who's got the DRS? It's not Baranyas. As here comes Dominic back at it, and down the inside goes Robin. Outrageous send from the FST, and now he shuffles wide Dominic, and then there's more contact. He spins round Liam and spins himself. Disaster for the two. Robin got too greedy, trying to get ahead of Baranyas and Liam, but in turn he spins Liam and himself. Robin's down to P9. Liam is going to be fuming. He is down to P7. Dominic is a benefactor in all that. He was on the outside, thankfully avoiding the carnage, and he is now P4. Yanni, still on those 6-lap older tyres from the rest, is somehow still holding P2. And after all, I thought he'd tumble down the order in the SET. He may still get a decent result from this. The carnage behind has allowed him to hold his position. Milan out front is just loving the battling behind. He's just going to gain more points on his rivals. Benjamin also homing in on the pack in front. And Baranyas will have another go at Yanni in front. Dominic still on for a podium position as it stands. But Ben Mills will look to avenge his teammate. And Liam will definitely look to avenge that podium position that he lost after getting spun out by Robin. And in the space of those 3 laps, I think the stewards are going to have a lot to talk about. So Milan now 4.5 seconds clear. His win is done and dusted. OMB are going to be on for back-to-back wins, and they are really going to thrust themselves into championship contention. Especially with Benjamin in P6 currently, which will turn into P5 after Baranyas' penalty. So just 4 laps to go when we cross the line. Surely Yanni can't hold on to P2 for just 4 more laps. His tyres are going to be screaming out at around about now. And how much longer can he keep Baranyas and Dominic at bay? Dominic doesn't want to throw away what will be an incredible result for TDR, because he's got 2 FZRs and an OMB right behind him ready to capitalise. That is wide in turn 1, and Ben Mills will now fancy his chances to get back by. How does Baranyas play this? And Yanni's playing the DRS game with him. I don't know if he got it. Dominic's having a look at both of them. As we head into turn 4, wheel to wheel we go. Let's find out who got the DRS. Coming out of turn 4. And it was Baranyas who got it. So Yanni's DRS game did not work. And heading down the straight, Yanni is still all over the back of Baranyas. Baranyas is running out of battery. And now here comes Dominic, and then Ben Mills on the inside of him. 2 by 2 we go. Yanni holds P2. Now on the inside is Dominic. Nearly spins around Baranyas, and now on the exit of turn 7 is Baranyas who takes P2. Yanni's in the wheel tracks trying to get back by. Benjamin is now up to P5. I look at Dominic. Yanni back round the outside at turn 9. Can he get the position? Round the outside we go. Baranyas is not going to let him have that, and round the outside stays ahead in P2. Yanni is not willing to give this up though, and round the outside he goes. An incredible move. Baranyas is trying to get back at him, but half spins him, and Yanni, that is an extraordinary overtake on 14-lap old hard tyres. Yanni will hold P2. And incredibly, with just 3 laps to go, the SET man still holds second place. Dominic is P4. Benjamin up to P5 here. OMB could find themselves with a 1-2 if Benjamin can get up there. And Liam has rocked up back on the scene. Karumi is catching all this fighting as well. As Baranyas has a look to the outside of turn 1, and now he looks to the switch back at turn 2. Dominic will just watch the fight, ready to pounce. And Yanni now behind, but he will get the DRS crucially. He's got a slight DRS advantage as well. 3 laps to go in this incredible Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. To the outside goes Yanni now. Dominic on the inside as well. Goes a bit deep, and now he's on the inside of Yanni, and he will take the position. Yanni with a slightly better exit though, but has to relinquish P3 to Dominic. And now they're both closing in on Baranyas. Benjamin burning his battery. Ben Mills just sitting back, watching the carnage unfold. And here comes Yanni back to the inside to try and take P2. Dominic holds behind in P3. Now to the inside, 3 wide we go. That was always going to end terribly. Coming back on the circuit, Benjamin takes P2. Incredible opportunistic move there from the OMB as we fell through nearly 3 wide. There's a car in the air as Ben Mills tumbles down the order. Disaster for FZR. But Liam is now up into P3. Extraordinary change of events there. As Baranias tumbles down to P6, Dominic is P5, he is still behind Yanni. Somehow, through all of that, the SEC has stayed ahead of the TDR. But as I said, keep an eye out for Benjamin. He might find himself in an OMB 1-2, and he has done. Benjamin up to second. Liam, though, is not going to let him have that easily. Milan, I think, is backing off to give his teammate DRS so that they can hold a 1-2. This is incredible implications for the championship here, as SEC currently P4, but OMB 1 and 2, this would really thrust them into championship contention. Liam is not going to want to let that happen though, but it might be inevitable because Milan has backed off to give his teammate DRS, and this might be just an OMB procession till the end of this race. There's going to be a lot to talk about in the steward's room, I will say. After that move shown by Ben Mills, who was in the air, may I add. I don't know who put him in the wall. It might have been Baranias, it might have been Dominic. Kurumi has all of a sudden found himself in P7, and he's locking up on the scene. He's going to be P6 after Baranias' penalty is applied. Robin is trying to bring himself back in the fight, but he's got wing damage. I think Dominic's got a bit of wing damage. Yes, he has. He's missing his end plate. On the penultimate lap of this race, we've still got a lot to be decided. Liam is still attacking Benjamin in front. But with that DRS, Milan has played this expertly. He's dominated this race, but when his team has needed him, he's come to help out Benjamin, and Benjamin, though, has got a bit of wing damage. That explains the pace difference between Liam and the Aston Martin, as Kurumi now ahead of Baranias. Baranias cuts a corner to stay ahead, and Kurumi looks for the switch back. Doesn't go around the outside. Baranias doesn't want to give it up, and Kurumi does just have to back out. He can't go 2x2 through there. Baranias still sliding. He's going to finish ahead anyway, Kurumi, with that 3-second penalty Baranias has got. But onto the final lap we go. Liam is looking to overtake Benjamin. Milan, I think, has realised Liam's got a lot of pace. Benjamin's just a little too slow, and I think he's starting to break away. But then Milan's backing off again, so he is giving him the DRS. He is desperate for this 1-2. He knows how much it means to OMB. And this is now just between Benjamin and Liam. This could be a crucial 3 points for FZR. If Liam can clear Benjamin at the minute, that's a nice exit for the Aston Martin. Dominic is also going to be battling Yanni. He's going to be wondering how he's missed out on a podium here today after running so well. Dominic gaining on Yanni, Liam gaining on Benjamin. Into the chicane we go. It's not going to be close enough though. Yanni on 17 lap old hard is somehow still clinging on to P4. Kurumi's battling with Baranias behind, and they're slowing each other up. That's just allowing Maxter to get back in the mix. Is Liam close enough for a move on Benjamin? I don't think he is. Is Dominic close enough to Yanni into turn 9? And he gets by. Incredible move there from Dominic. And he will take a deserved P4 ahead of Yanni. Yanni tried his best, but it just will not be enough. Looking behind is Chaos as F1 Maxter gets ahead of Baranias. Robin gets ahead as well up to P8. No love lost between them two after their earlier collision. And now Saban tries to get by as well, up into P9. He's going to get P7 after penalty. But we look to the front. Milan with an incredible win and a 1-2 for OMB. Extraordinary result for them, and in a championship perspective, it is a disaster for FZR and SEC. Liam still with a very decent drive in P3. TDR Dominic, TDR P9 in the Constructors. Dominic comes home in P4. Brilliant race from him, but he must be wondering how he didn't pick up the podium there. Yanni in P5, alternate strategy, but he has made that work brilliantly. P5, Kurumi and F1AF, P6 and P8. Great result for them. Tutu Saban, I've barely talked about him in this race, but he picks up P7 at the death. Sasuke P9, Jack P10, and Baranias and Robin P11 and 12 after their rollercoaster of a race. Ben Mills is down in P14. He's going to be absolutely furious. He could have ended up on the podium with his teammate, but after that Herculean collision down the back straight, he's only P14. Alex is lapped, and Ghost Luca will come home in P15. An utterly bizarre Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It started with rain to start off the madness, and after that Milan managed to dominate it, but behind it was anything but calm. Everybody crashing, everybody battling, and in the end the only thing that looked certain was Milan winning today. Brilliantly, he wins, and Benjamin somehow threading his way through the carnage to pick up an OMB 1-2. Liam with a good point total for FZR, but they are going to be fuming at the fact that their rivals have gotten a 1-2. SEC, it's good damage limitation for Yanni, considering where SEC were at one stage in the race. but still P5 for the Constructors' Championship leaders only is going to be very detrimental. Dominic, again, I must mention, brilliant job from him in P4, and that's a huge boost for TDR in P9 in the Constructors. Krumi and Maxa, brilliant job for F1AF. And Saban also for UFRC, nice result for them in P7. Sasuke Dor and Jack Maloney rounding out the top 10. And Branius and Robin, who were right in the fight for the podium, 90% of that race, just got a bit too greedy at the end. Ben Mills also one of those. We'll have to have a look in the stewards room after that, because there's going to be a lot reported, and I wouldn't be surprised if these aren't the final results, because there's a lot to talk about afterwards. But that has been your extraordinary Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Thank you all for tuning in. Please do join us next time in Japan, and we have actually got a week break, keep in mind, so still 2 weeks to go until the next round 11 here in EFES. But thank you all for watching, and I have been KJ, and we will see you all in 2 weeks in Suzuka. Goodbye.